On the 17th of August, Google is going to change how smart campaigns that are limited by budget act forever. If you run Target CPA or Target ROAS campaigns, and your campaigns have been quietly beating the expectations, Google is about to take that advantage back from you. Not as a penalty, but as a deliberate design decision. Here is what actually changes, who it affects, and what you should do with the days that you have left. Today, a campaign that's sat in the limited by budget section will continue to perform and maybe outperform itself. In a way, the system has room for your campaigns to outperform their specified target. And a lot of the accounts that I work with have been living off that gap for years without realizing it. But from the 17th of August 2026, your campaigns are going to be working more in line with the targets that you set. And this includes when you adjust budgets as well. Google put out a memo the other day to all of its partners, which basically said, if you've got a campaign that's got a target CPA of $10, for example, and it's currently acting at a $5 CPA, it will be more inclined to move that campaign towards a $10 CPA from now on. Now, for those of you that have set a target CPA 18 months ago, 2 years ago, of a conservative figure and hopefully that the Google would beat it, this is time for you to take action. That safe number that you put in actually is about to become the number that Google will aim its targeting at. So who does this actually hit? Basically, the change applies to Target CPA and Target ROAS campaigns across the following: search, shopping, performance max, demand gen and travel campaigns in Google Ads and search ads, plus Target CPC for demand gen and demand gen campaigns in display and video. It's not going to touch manual CPC, target impression share, or target CPM. Those of you who have app campaigns, video reach, or video campaigns as well will also not be touched either. For those of you who run display and hotel campaigns, you'll understand that these already work this way now. Basically, if you think of it as campaigns that aren't restricted by budget in any way, aren't touched. To be honest, if your campaigns have never worn the limited by budget label, stop watching here. But a lot of the clients that I speak to, and even people that just come in for a one-on-one consultation with me, a lot of them have the issue of being limited by budget. And Google has notified you in the last, let's say, 12 months that some of your campaigns are limited by budget, then I'd keep watching. Now, here's where the honesty comes in. For a lot of you, increase to your target CPA because you've either just left it or you don't put that much effort into your Google Ads will mean a really big cost per action increase. But another thing is when people go towards their target CPA, your volume also rises with it, but it's just whether you currently have the budget to spend that amount of money to generate those conversions, and if those conversions actually then become worth it. For example, if you're selling a $20 product and your cost per action at the moment is $15, it's probably not financially viable that you're doing that. Again, whether that's a good trade is completely up to you. I don't know your profit margins at the moment, and that's something that you know, and then you can figure that out as well. But if you are looking for more informed strategies and tips with your Google Ads, don't hesitate to get in contact using the link in the description below. Another thing is there might be mass outrage about this, but if we're being honest, the old behavior of Google Ads wasn't free either. It's the reason so many advertisers, I mean, I've done it myself, you watch the campaign crumble as soon as you increase its budget slightly. The old system never truly stuck to its targets, which means you could scale a campaign and it work unbelievably, or you could scale a campaign and it just basically go to shit. But after the 17th of August, the target becomes the control and the budget starts to become the throttle. And for me, that's a better model to manage against, even if the first fortnight, if you're not prepared, is going to sting. So what do you need to do before the 17th of August so you aren't stung? So the first thing you're going to want to do is filter by status. Pull every single campaign that is either limited by budget or has a target on it. All your other campaigns can be running as normal. Now, compare your actual CPA to target for a real sample. Google recommends that for smart bidding strategies, you should look for 30 conversions, and then for target ROAS strategies, you should look for over 50 conversions. So an example of this would be, if your target ROAS is 4x over the last 50 conversions, however, you're actually operating at a 6x ROAS, that's something that you're going to want to change. You're going to want to increase that target ROAS from 4x to 6x. And on the other hand, if your target CPA over the last 30 conversions has been $15, however, you're more operating at a $10 target cost per action, then you're going to want to reduce from $15 to $10. And for those of you who can't produce that data of 50 conversions for a target ROAS or 30 for a cost per action, the targets were guesswork anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much from your point of view. Now, after you've got all of that data, you can either take one of 4 positions. The first one is keep the target as it is and accept that performance is going to drift towards it with more volume and less efficiency. The second one is to match the target to recent actual performance, which holds your current numbers roughly where they are. The third is to set a custom target between the two, based on what you can genuinely afford to pay for a customer. It might be a fraction more than what you're paying now, but the volume will increase. Or switch to maximize conversions or maximize conversion value, which spends the budget and lets efficiency float. Something for you to look at is the Google bid adjustment tool that has been live since the 6th of July. Again, have an explore with those targets or let somebody like myself do that for you. However, if you have less than 7 conversions, this tool won't work. So what have we done in our Google Ads accounts? Easy. We've matched the target to recent performance and then raised the budget accordingly. It protects the efficiency side that you already know that you've been proven to hit, whilst making the most of this new campaign and this new strategy from Google. It actually puts you in the position this change was designed to reward. A campaign that can scale at a known target rather than one that just looks efficient because it's starved. Probably the one thing that we would stay away from is the maximizing conversions, because it actually takes away the cost per acquisition element of this whole strategy that Google have put in. And for my clients, a lot of them have like a very clear cost per acquisition ceiling, so we need that. It's pretty simple. If you guys have a margin floor, you need to keep your target. For SaaS companies and things like that don't have that much of a margin floor, go for it. Probably the last thing worth flagging is Google also mentioned to us that the performance planner will be showing inaccurate numbers from the 17th to the 30th of August. So if you're going to do your Q4 reports, always make sure that those reports come a fortnight later, just whilst the system settles. Now, if your only lever is the bid auction, you're actually gambling with an auction that you do not control. The other lever needs to sit on your side of the click. A landing page that converts at 3% compared to 2% is going to drastically reduce your cost per action, if that makes sense. And the biggest bonus for you is Google really can't control that arithmetic. It has no control on your landing page conversion rate. That's all about you and your conversion rate optimization tools. I think this is good for business owners where if you've been treating conversion rate like a nice to have, it's time to get your ass in gear and start putting more effort for your conversion rate optimization. And account structure matters for the same reason. If your campaigns aren't limited by budget, you aren't going to really have an issue. Consolidated, thinly starved campaigns are so much more likely to be hit by this new update. Fewer, better funded campaigns were the right answer before the 17th of August, but after this change, they are definitely the right answer now. If you want a second pair of eyes on your targets before or just after the deadline, don't hesitate to get in contact. Or if you just want us to look through your Google Ads management portfolio as a whole, again, don't hesitate to get in contact using the link in the description below. It's a really quick 5 to 10 minute conversation where you just get to know me, get to know about how the company structures our Google Ads campaigns as a whole. A really no pressure environment for you to join. And with that, I want to thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking the time, and we will see you in the next video.